the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, believes the country is on the path to recovery. He's saying that Nigeria was heading to economic disaster before President Bola Tinubu came into power in May of last year. The governor of the CBN, Mr. Yemi Cardoso, on the other hand, has assured Nigerians that the nation's inflation rate will drop. They were all briefing lawmakers at the sectoral debate on the economy before the House of Representatives. The CBN governor specifically says that inflation will reduce to 21%. Let's take a listen to, first and foremost, the finance minister.
To address exchange rate volatility, a comprehensive strategy has been initiated to enhance liquidity in the forex markets, and I made reference to the outcome of that earlier. This includes unifying FX market segments, clearing outstanding FX obligations, introducing new operational mechanisms for BDCs, enforcing the net open position limits, and adjusting the remunerable standard deposit facility cap. Honorable members, we understand the economic costs of these developments, not just for the economy, but also as they affect ordinary Nigerians. However, as I mentioned in previous engagements, these costs are temporary, and our decisions will address a lot of fundamental issues bothering Nigeria's macroeconomic landscape. Honorable members, these measures aimed at ensuring a more market-oriented mechanism for exchange rate determination will boost foreign exchange inflows, stabilize the exchange rate, and minimize its pass-through to domestic inflation.
That's the CBN governor making specific statement on what they were doing. But what about the finance minister? Of course, that's what I called for earlier. But this is the finance minister now. Take a listen to him.
The implementation of the 8-point agenda of the president began. We were in an unsustainable place in terms of the fiscal situation of Nigeria. We were on the road to economic disaster. We had expenditure which was wasteful and unsustainable by way of the subsidy, not just on fuel, but the subsidy on foreign exchange, which confused the incentive framework, and people were chasing cheap dollars in order to make instant profits. Of course, in turning back from that road, as we have heard, there will be dust. However, bold measures have been taken, and there have been positive results.
All right. Those were not the only two people who presented. The taxman, the FRS chairman, also did a presentation alongside some other people who are critical in making decisions in relation to the economy. Let's listen to a very senior member of the National Assembly, a member of the House of Representatives from Bayelsa State, a member of the People's Democratic Party, Honorable Fred Agbedi. Thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, Shehu, and good evening, Nigerians and viewers. I'd like to know the feeler. Did you and some of your colleagues feel relief after the presentation of these economic handlers? Shehu, I think it's too soon to say that we had some sigh of relief. It's too soon to say that.
But from their presentation?
Today's interaction is the first of it all. And like the speaker, the deputy speaker who presided in today's sitting said, yes, we have gone this length today. We are going to invite you again, and then we shall hear from you and ask further questions. So it means that it's a continuing session. It was not just to start today and conclude today. However, we invited them because as the People's House of Representatives, we feel the pain that Nigerians are feeling. We hear the groaning of Nigerians from all nooks and crannies. And in the wisdom of the the Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, he felt and realized that we need to take this burden of Nigerians and then interface with the economic team. I think that was the reason why this session took place.
How
today.
Convincing were they? Especially the CBN governor and the finance minister, because beyond the explanation and what some people would term rhetoric, the fundamentals of the explanation, whether or not you, the representatives of the people, agree with those realities or those indices they presented before you today.
It's not a time to draw statements as to whether it's convincing or not. As a matter of fact, nothing could have convinced anyone as at this session. The fact remains that you invited them to appear before you. They will tell you what they are doing, what they have done, or what they intend to do. Much of what will eventually be assessed by the House of Representatives is what they will be doing and the results that will be dropping. If we have positive results speculating, then we can be able to judge and say, yes, we are convinced that you are doing it right. As at today's session, I don't think that it was in the place of the House of Reps to give anybody a clean bill of health. That was not the essence of it. We needed to hear from them. We needed to know what they are doing. What do they intend to, how do they intend to achieve the policies that they are bringing on board? Take, for example, when you remove fuel subsidy, you know that there are going to be attendant challenges after the removal of fuel subsidy. And then, Mr. President, the government had promised palliatives, government had promised buses, transportation to ease costs of movement, gas-fired buses and all that. Chenwu, you and I know, and the House of Reps understands that most of these palliatives that were promised has not been delivered to Nigerians. So if most of these palliatives promised had not been delivered to Nigerians, we couldn't just sit there and give a clean bill of health. But to call them to account, what are you doing? What will you be doing? When do you intend to bring succor through the policies that you are driving?
Honorable Fred,
I think that was the essence of today's session.
I understand that some of you and your colleagues shared palliatives to your constituents.
We have always shared palliatives.
No, but directly coming from the government, the federal government.
We are part of the government. We are part of the government.
No, I'm saying specifically, there was a package which we understand that every lawmaker, there was a certain amount given to a House of Reps member, certain amount given to every senator. Is that correct?
That is not correct. What I can tell you is that as members of government, as part of welfare for our people, there were budgetary provisions made for constituencies and senatorial districts and states. You remember that this government released monies to state governments to cushion the effect. In the same manner, allocations were made to senatorial districts and federal constituencies. And these were not allocations made for any particular House of Reps member. It was made for the constituencies. And the government awarded contracts to contractors. The facilitators are National Assembly members. And then those who distribute, hand over these palliatives to their constituencies were the National Assembly members.
Is it so, usual every December?
Like I said, in every end of year, members of National Assembly in one way or the other give palliatives, support to their constituents. It's not the first time and it will not be the last time.
So maybe
the difference you
I just wanted to know, because if the federal government says they were going to give out palliatives as part of the fuel subsidy.
That is the point I wanted to make.
Yeah.
If you had allowed me, that's
what I was asking.
That I wanted to draw.
Was that part of the package?
That is part of the package. So it was not meant for a member of National Assembly to go get a particular amount of money and do whatever he wanted to do with it. No, but you have to supervise the distribution because you are the man representing the people.
So the National Assembly and the government delivered on that?
Of course, yes.
Every member?
Every constituency, every senatorial district, yes.
What was it? What does it entail? What
well,
are the items?
It was the same rice. You know that government has been buying rice, and the major things we have been distributing is either rice, grains, or whatever, and that was...
like how many bags did you distribute?
Well, I think in my constituency, we received well over 1.2 bags of rice that we distributed.
1.2 million bags?
About 800 bags, and another 400 bags, like 1,200 bags that came that way.
To your people?
Yes.
Coming from directly to your constituency?
Yes, the contractor supplied them directly to our constituency. And
you disbursed?
Yes.
Now, give us an understanding of the explanation made today by some of these handlers. And what would you say was the fundamental problem that you discovered from their presentation about the economy?
Well, first, the understanding is that the economy from the previous administration to the present administration has really been bad. Particularly in this administration because of the removal of the fuel subsidy, which, if you remember, President Goodluck had wanted to remove. Maybe at the time Goodluck wanted to remove it, he had his own plans to cushion the effect of removal of the petroleum subsidy. Mr. President, in his promise during campaigns, said he was going to remove. And at Eagle Square, on the day of swearing in, he announced the removal of fuel subsidy. That was his first day in government. Whether he had sat to look at the issues, the kind of palliatives, the kind of cushioning effects that he was going to deploy immediately after you remove the fuel subsidy was the issue of debate. And of course, that debate is still raging because 6 months, 7 months into its administration, some of those promises that were going to be used as palliatives to cushion the effect, transportation and otherwise, issues of allowances, salaries and allowances, has not taken place. And so the Nigerian's economic situation is nosediving more and more. Look at what one of the presentations today, and a member asked this question. In June, you had over 1 trillion. In July, you had close to 2 trillion. In August, you had close to 2 trillion. By December and January, it has reduced to 1.0 trillion. By January, it has reduced 1.1 trillion. So something is wrong. Something has not
What was the explanation?
Something has not been gotten right. And, well, I listened. I didn't get a clear explanation. Of course, you know, we are 360 members. Maybe 250 members are, at the sitting. Several questions are asked. Some are answered. Some may not have been answered.
Let's find out.
And so that is why the process will continue.
I mean,
but what we are concerned about is that Nigerians are suffering. And that is why we call the team to come and speak to us.
There are concerns about the exchange rate and the manner in which this government says they want to approach in handling the challenges. Did the ministers or the handlers, did they tell you about Nigeria's exchange rate strategy and what are the long-term plan to accomplish the fixing?
First, the minister said that the CBN governor said that as yesterday, over $800 million transaction was done, which was first in history. And that shows that there was going to be a better future being expected from that transaction, business transaction, that went on yesterday. However, questions were raised that in this same administration, in this same last government, there were issues about dollar subsidy, where people took dollars at lower rates from central bank and then went to the parallel market and made humongous profits from them, which was also like petroleum subsidy, which was even better than petroleum subsidy. And in doing so, the value of the naira dropped drastically. And the question was raised, how are you going to reverse this system?
Did you get any explanation on that?
Yes, the explanation is that they are taking steps to stabilize it, and it is going to be stabilized. But when I particularly raised the question as to whether you have altered this dollar subsidy that happened in the previous administration as a CBN governor, whether you have put it on check or you have halted it, there was no answer to that effect. I don't expect that, like I said, because of the number of questions, there are some that we have skipped. But we feel that we are not there. We are very far from having the solutions there. We don't also expect that in 4 months of a minister or a CBN administration that you are going to fix these issues. But what we, as members of parliament, took into cognizance is that today we have a narrative. Tomorrow, if we continue, we will have another narrative. We will be taking notes, and we will be doing our oversight and checking your facts that you have tendered before parliament. So that if it is not helping Nigerians, then we come back to the issue of whether you have delivered or you have not delivered.
Yeah, I want us to wrap up on this note, and quickly, please. There are a lot of Nigerians who will be expecting to know what the feelers were. On the issue of the ways and means intervention, they created over 31 trillion naira criminal slush funds that was used to attack the scarce dollar resources between May 2015 to December 2023. Was there any explanation given in that respect?
So the issue was raised in today's session, and the economic team really also said that they are dealing with that issue. And they are trying to ensure that all that is dealt with in such a manner that we will be able to close that gap. How they are going to close that gap will be based on the policies that they are going to come out with. Again, as an assembly, we went further to say, yes, we have invited you to hear from you. We are also available to know the areas, the lacunas, in legislative interventions that we can collaborate with you to strengthen your policies so that you can achieve the goal. Because we are all part of government. We are all expected to bring good governance. And so we couldn't have been at different poles. Rather, we should be able to work together and see whether we are going to bring succor to our people, to Nigeria.
Honorable, thank you so much sincerely. And Nigerians really were monitoring what went on. Thank you so much indeed for the perspective and the insight you have given tonight. Honorable Fred Agbedi, a very senior member of the House of Representatives from Bayelsa State, member of the People's Democratic Party. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you very much.
That's awesome.